All right, so with the coloring on my strong crayon layer here, it's my own choices. We can often overdo it, and we can often get in the way of the actual value that's underneath, right? And so one way we can play with that is to take our layer, and instead of having it as a normal blending mode, we can change it to what's called a color blending mode. It's down near the bottom. And what the color blending mode does is it takes whatever colors we put in and it matches them to the value of what's underneath. So I can go all the way back to my black and white, and you can see those kind of crayon color strokes. It's now making those colors match the values that are underneath. So if you squint enough, they'll kind of disappear. And it's kind of hard to know. I don't want to go quite so far as that, as having them match exactly what's underneath. Because I like their shape on their own a little bit, but maybe they're a little strong on their own, so I can just take opacity, kind of push them down. And then I'll continue that boldness. For these other parts. Maybe I'll go back to my photo. And I'll try to get some of that shirt in there. Get back to speed painting. This was my final step, and there's no way of being able to tell you when you should be finished. What is enough. I'm just trying to open up the possibilities for you. And when in doubt, just be experimental on a new layer. And what I love about color photos is you can actually steal pretty bright colors from them. It's impressive how saturated parts of these images are. So you don't need to always go for crazy references in order to get some pretty bold colors. Now there's so many different ways you can go with coloring. So I showed you the the color blending mode. But I can also show you things like color dodge, which will brighten everywhere you colored, or color burn, which will darken it, so you can get some very kind of dark, moody, expressionistic coloring with color burn. So it's just so much fun to explore and kind of know that you're safe experimenting. Try overlay, which is kind of a nice in-between. And of course, you can just play with the direct opacity of it. And adjust it from there. All right, so as I finish up, I find when parts of the painting just look like a mess, especially when they're these ones I've kind of left for the end, it's better just to kind of glaze over them and not try to get too particular. Not try to detail them out, but simply take a big color at a slightly lower opacity, kind of wipe them over. Let's try that. Let's make it a little bigger. Go on top. Something like this. Big strokes, and then we'll glaze that in. You see that will help them kind of sit down. Set that on overlay. That'll help everything kind of calm down a bit. You can work over and under. Okay, so now it's going to be time to turn this in. And to do that, I have to save it, of course, as a Photoshop file for myself and for printing later, but also just as a file I can put online, putting up to PhotoBucket. And at some point, you just tear yourself away. You have to stop. Okay. So you take your finished painting and you save it for yourself as your PSD. That's what you'll make your print ready file from. And then you save as a JPEG to the desktop. You want to keep it, because with all our painting layers, these can get quite big. So I navigate to the desktop. I want to make sure it's not larger than 5 megabytes as a JPEG. We're putting up online. Quality 7. Say OK. It should save pretty quickly. It's already saved as a Photoshop file, so I'm good. I can get out of there. And then the only things I have to upload, so there's my finished JPEG. I have to upload that, and I have to upload my original reference photo. So we go to Photo Bucket, we load that up into the right folder, and then we will critique and review some of the work you guys are doing with your introduction to digital painting. I'll put mine into the instructor's demo file. And you'll see in that lots of different ranges of painting, lots of different types and experiments. And then we label them in our usual way. For fall 2016. Your reference is number 1. Your painting is number 2. And I'm actually going to load my monochrome painting as well. So you can see that I started it with that. And to do that, I can just open up the Photoshop file, though I saved it as a monochrome file too. Either way. And I can upload that. Sometimes you're in the mood for color, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you feel like a nut. So there's that. I'll save that quickly as a JPEG to the desktop. Didn't have quite so many layer components, so I can save it at a slightly higher quality. I don't know if you can upload from there. So it's amazing, once you've done your value study and you've gotten used to kind of customizing your brushes, it's amazing how fast the coloring can go. It's really the values that give you the illusion. And it's amazing how uncolorful this looks next to that color solution. So this would be FA16 Carl 2. And the reason we label them, and it's important to label them, is so that all your work shows together in the right order, as you'll see here. Okay, and that's it.